Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the British Tier 6 Premium Medium Tank, the Cromwell B. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Cromwell B. We've got two really nice games coming up in this tank. The second game especially is a very nice game in this vehicle. It's one of those where you sit there going, how am I alive? As you come out of the game, realistically. You go, yeah, okay, sure. So there is 3 Cromwells in this game that are premium. 4 if you count the tech tree, Cromwell. There's the Cromwell B, the Cromwell Knight, and the Cromwell Snakebite. The Cromwell Snakebite is a light tank that is just utterly rapid, but has a terrible gun. You've got the Cromwell Knight, which is the flag version of the Cromwell, which I think is now available in the Valor store. And you've got the Cromwell B. Now, the Cromwell B and the Cromwell Knight are 2 tanks that are actually slightly statistically different. And that's because one of the big things for the Cromwell Knight is that it has worse accuracy. It actually has worse accuracy than the Cromwell B at 0.4 base, whereas the Cromwell B has 0.36. But you have better aim time. So the aim time is so much quicker on the Cromwell B than it is the Cromwell Knight. With a fully kitted out tank, you have an aim time of 1.72 seconds, which on the Cromwell B is 2.12 seconds. So the gun aims in so much faster than this vehicle, and because the accuracy during movement and rotation on both vehicles is really poor, the aim circle does become massive on both vehicles. So it's nice the fact that the aim time is so much better on the Cromwell Knight, which is why I always loved the Cromwell Knight as opposed to the Cromwell B, because the Cromwell B was one of those that I felt like I took forever to aim the gun, and it missed anyway. Whereas the Cromwell Knight, I expected it to miss more often because it was more inaccurate, but at least I didn't spend what felt like an age aiming it up to then miss. You know, it's one of those. So I always prefer the Cromwell Knight, which is why I 3-marked the Cromwell Knight and I haven't done the Cromwell B. I really should probably go back and just finish off the Cromwell B, to be fair, and do it. But there we go. And then do the Snakebite, so I've got the Cromwell collection. Because I did the standard Cromwell with the Derp gun, because, you know, memes. But yeah, the Cromwell B itself has a 64 km/h top speed with a 20 km/h reverse speed, so fantastic mobility, 23.19 horsepower per ton ratio, with a 20% internal fire chance. The Cromwell B, same as the Cromwell Knight and the standard Cromwell, all have fantastic mobility. They are exceptionally mobile support medium tanks, and they are very, very nice for using it to do that. 20% internal fire chances on the high end of fire chances, and again, this thing does like getting set on fire if you get shot in the back end, so be careful of that. Ground resistances on this vehicle are amazing, which means they do not hold the tank back end to its top speed whatsoever, and they are fantastic. You don't need to help them. 50 degrees a second on the track traverse is pretty damn fast, so you do turn on the tracks very, very quickly, meaning you are easily outmaneuvering most vehicles you're going to be seeing at tier 6 and 7, and even some of the tier 8s, realistically. 281 meters of still concealment with the build that I run, and 291 meters of on the move concealment is really nice camo as well. It'll help you stay unspotted in quite a few situations, and it actually helps you to play a bit like a pseudo scout at times, which the Cromwell B can play, and the standard Cromwell can do it as well. You can play as that pseudo scout where you go and try and spot the enemy team up, get the vision out there for your team to go farming. And with 461 meters of view range, it's not the best view range in the universe, but it's good enough that you can spot people at decent distances, and especially with the pretty good camo, it means you can stay unspotted and spot people at further distances as well. You got 52.13 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed, which means the turret does turn faster than the tracks, which is nice for the Cromwell B, meaning you can keep the gun locked on target that little bit easier. You got 1.69 accuracy during rotation, with a 3.94 accuracy during movement, which is really not very good. We're still hitting the shots on the move because, you know, RNG. But that means that the aim circle, as you are seeing, becomes rather huge on this vehicle, and means that you will struggle to basically keep the gun hitting shots on the move because of how bad and how big that aim circle gets. And you've got 8 degrees of gun depression on this vehicle as well, by the way, which means you are fairly flexible on ridgeline, as you're seeing, which is quite nice for the Cromwell B. 0.29 accuracy at 100 meters means you are pretty accurate when you do get it fully aimed, but as you're seeing, it can still be a bit derpy, which can be super frustrating. 2.12 second aim time, again, means that it does take a wee while to get this gun aimed in. But you do have a 2.84 second reload, which is phenomenal. 2.8k DPM, which is absolutely fantastic for a tier 6 medium tank, meaning you absolutely shred in the Cromwell B so quickly, which is what you've seen in this replay. You might see that in the next replay as well, and it is very, very nice for that. 145 pen on the standard AP, with 202 pen on the premium APCR is good enough to go through most tanks you're going to face at tier 6, 7 and 8. It's only some of the more heavily armoured tier 8s that you are going to struggle with to be able to get shots through. How do... We bounced? Okay, I'm calling it here. Extreme luck. We survived that there. We got 135 damage on this 75mm gun, 785 meters a second shot velocity on the standard AP, with 981 meters a second shot velocity on the premium APCR. The velocity isn't too good on this tank unless you're firing the APCR, and even then it's still just slightly below average, meaning you have to give a good amount of lead at distance to be able to hit your targets. So we finished that first game there with the 2,222 base XP, 3 and a bit K damage. Really nice game there for the Cromwell B. Again, showing it off what it wants to be doing. It wants to be that support tank, spotting tanks out, getting to aggressive spotting locations, being also in aggressive support locations where you can use the mobility to get to, flank and spank, and just keep the gun firing. So what do I run in terms of accruing equipment to get the statistics that I've just told you about for the Cromwell B? So I run a pretty standard medium tank setup, to be fair, for the Crommy B, same as I run on any of the Cromwells. I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, the Advanced Loader, the Camo Net, and Optics. Optics to be able to have that 461 meters of view range so I can spot for myself in this vehicle. Again, get that really nice spotting damage. The Advanced Loader to get the best DPM I can possibly get out of this vehicle, because having that 2.8k DPM is phenomenal. And the Camo Net to get that 281 meters of still concealment. Mix that in with the Camouflage Expertise and the Silent Driving to keep the concealment down while on the move. It just helps you to be a pretty damn stealthy medium tank, and again help you to be in aggressive positions, stay unspotted, and then be able to farm up and not get spotted while in those aggressive positions too, which can be very, very nice for the Crommy B. All 3 gun perks as well, by the way, because you really have to help this gun, because the accuracy and rotation is just pathetically bad, and as you've seen, the aim circle becomes massively huge, so you have to help it out if you can to be able to actually keep this gun going and effectively use the 2.8k DPM. So here on the second game, we are on this map, which is Dragon's Ridge, a map that I dislike greatly, but we're going to have a game that is, again, one of those games where I sit there and go, how am I alive? Number one, I don't know how I'm alive, and number two, a really, really nice game. So we're already up to 1,036 damage, and we've used our camo perfectly to stay unspotted in this location and just keep farming up. Sadly, we didn't get any shots into that KV-222 there, but I'm going to use my mobility now to push to that back line, because then we can try and get in a position where we can shoot the back of that KV-222 and then get shots and spot the people where that 40 TP was. So I want to push straight up onto the little ledge over here so we can get up behind the rocks and get ourselves safe, especially from anywhere where the KV-222 actually was, because they can get easy shots at me, same as this Leopard. But with him getting spotted there, we put a shot into the back end of the Leopard. It breaks his engine, hoping to do it again, because the engine is very, very easy to break on a Leopard. But yeah, he managed to get himself safe, or unspotted, I should say there. So we are seeing shells. We are seeing shells flying from our left-hand side. There's definitely tanks around this corner. So we want to get around here, try and spot them, and hopefully our team that are along the E line should be able to get them, because there's always people camping at, like, J6. So we want to try and get there to get them. The KV-85 gets spotted, though, in a perfect location for me to farm. That bounces! Okay, game. Sure. So we're aiming... that bounced. There's something next to him there. That was a ricochet off of something unspotted right next to that KV-85. But with him tracked there, we're just keeping him perma-tracked with a fantastic DPM, and we finish him off. It's always funny. It's always funny when you see ricochets on blind tanks, because you see the shell ricochet and go, what on earth did I just ricochet off? Oh, that's a bit odd. Okay, sure. So I could go after the tanks at H4, but I decided instead I was going to go and try and find the tanks over here. And in fact, we find the artillery. We ammo-rack that artillery with a shell. First shell there, straight through. Nice kill there for 480 on the artillery. And sadly, before the new ammo-rack special effects, so we didn't see the glorious new shiny ammo rack, just the old school one. So we're up to 2.5k damage, and we're going to push around the cap and try and find their camping TDs. And there we go, there's the Nashorn. Again, I know with this tree behind, or between me and this Nashorn, I should hopefully, with such good camo that I have, be able to just keep farming him without ever getting spotted. We managed to break the engine there of the Nashorn, which means that poor guy is probably screwed. I'm going to poke around the corner to see if I can spot him without the bush between us. And in fact we did, but a little bit too late as he managed to get himself back safe. So I need to get into position to shoot these medium tanks and tank destroyers, because they're in a position where I can shoot them, but I need to be able to get them. But I have to be careful about not being shot by the guys at G7, because if they decided to poke round, they would end up seeing me, and they would end up being able to get me spotted, number one, so I'd be shot by some of these medium tanks and tank destroyers, and I'd end up getting finished off. Something we do have to be careful of, though, in the Cromwell B, is that you do run out of ammunition quite quickly as you fire very, very fast, so do be careful of that as well. As you can see, we've already run out of AP rounds. We're now on to the APCR rounds, those 202 pen APCR. We managed to get a few shots there into the 40 TP. Now, this is where, and to be honest, this whole game has shown how great the camo is in the Cromwell B. And if you can abuse that camo, how easy it is to just keep damage flowing. And because the camo at 281 meters of still concealment is so good, at a tier where view range isn't really the best, it means you can just farm hard. And we just managed to get a few shots there into the Nashorn, who managed to drop off the ridge. We've got a 40 TP at the rear, a Semervente in front, a Nashorn behind us as well. So we're just going to keep the damage flowing into the 40 TP, and we're going to get ourselves down low away from the Semervente. So I want to try and kill this Nashorn if we can. I'm at this point thinking, oh god, I'm going to die. We get a shot on the move into the Nashorn. The 40 TP bounces. The Semervente is coming after us. We're just like, no, get out of dodge. Fast and the Furious. We need to stay away. With that Semervente dropping down, I'm hoping to poke over this ridge and get a shot into him. As you can clearly see, he's also running the opposite way. And with him being on the move, it's going to be very difficult for this guy to actually hit us. So we keep the shots flying. He pens us. We bounce. So we put a shot in, meaning he should have been dead. We chance it, finish off the Semervente. He should have been dead before that, but okay. Thankfully, we get lucky. The 40 TP misses his shell. He's now a one-shot. We finish off the 40 TP there with a shell too. Woo! That was chaotic. That was a chaotic moment. We probably should have been dead in that whole entire moment, but yeah, we'll take it. We're up to 4.6k damage with 6 kills, 685 assistance damage. There's only 2 tanks left, the SU-100 and the A-43, who are both on the opposite side of the map. So what I want to do is get up on top of this ridgeline and then push into the middle of the map to see if I can find the SU-100 and get shots into him as well. I only have 12 shots left, so I do have to be careful of my ammunition capacity because, again, for the Cromwell B, it is quite easy to run out of ammo. So you don't want to run out of ammo too soon, as it's frustrating. When you watch a game, you go, I could win this if I had the ammo. Yeah, you don't want that kind of frustration. So we know where the SU-100 was. We're going to go try and claim the life of this dude, get our 7th kill, but we've got to be careful about getting out-spotted from him. But also, if we spot him, hopefully one of our teammates should be able to shut him down as well, which is why we are going in between these buildings, because it gives us a little bit of cover that if we do get spotted, we can duck into cover straight away and get ourselves safe. So we're just going to poke over the ridgeline. It's like, oh boy, there's the A-43. Thankfully, snap the shot, RBRT into the A-43 for our 7th kill of the game there. That was one of the moments where I didn't expect to see the A-43, and he just appeared, and it's like, oh no! Oh, squeaky bum time, you know? Securing the Devastator medal. But that means the SU-100 is no longer here. So we're sitting here going, oh, where is the SU-100 gone? I want my Radley Walters. You know, I want 8 kills. But where has this guy gone to hide? Because he is a fairly quick tank, the SU-100. But I didn't think he'd get away this quickly. And unfortunately for me, we're not actually going to find the SU-100 as we end up finishing the game with the cap there. We finished the game with a really nice total though, and actually an absolutely amazing total for the Cromwell B there. 7 kills, 4.7k damage, 2,500 base XP with the ace tanker, the Pascucci's, the Devastator, the Top Gun, the High Caliber. Yeah, 2,562 base XP, and an absolutely amazing game for the Cromwell B, which, like I say, is a tank that is absolutely fantastic. The Cromwell in again, it's a nostalgic tank. It's a great tank to play at tier 6. You can always have fun with it. It's one of those really mobile supporting medium tanks that is just proper old school and proper fun to play. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!